Okay, if you are using MacBook, please open up your terminal. So how do you open up your terminal? Open up your Spotlight and then just search for terminal. Okay, for Mac users. For Windows user, please open up your CMDER. CMDER is this one, right? Just now, who has the problem downloading the CMDER? I just do a simple one. So CMDER, right? I don't think you're able to. For MacBook, we can't really run the CMDER because it's in the .exe applications. So once you downloaded the CMD the project already, you don't need to install anything inside your CMDER. You just need to fire up this CMDER.exe. Just fire up, then you should be able to get this thing up ready. Okay. Okay. Once you got this one, then if you install everything for Visual Studio, Node.js, and CMD, can you just like type yes inside the groups chat? Okay, well, okay, thank you. KW, I think you need to check on the security, or if you're using your company laptop, then you need to go back to your IT ready. So once you fire up ready, what I want you to do is, let me increase the font size. Just type cd, enter. So this will directly go to your home. For Windows, right? If I remember correctly, you can use cd. So cd stands for change directory. And then if you want to go to your local C panel, you just C colon and front slash. I forgot it's front slash or backslash. Should be front slash. You just enter this one, you should be able to go to the local C drive already. Okay, and then okay, now the next thing is I want you to type node, N-O-D-E, inside your terminal or CSS, and then once you enter, you should be able to enter into Node.js console. You should be able to see something like this. Ignore the versions. My version might be different from yours because I didn't really update my Node.js runtime environment. Lazy to do that. Once you install Node.js, you should be able to enter the Node.js command prompt or Node.js console inside your command prompt or CMDER. And is this the same in Windows? Yes, if you don't want to use CMDER, you can use command prompt to do that. For Node, you should, if you have the same result like mine, can you just type yes inside the group chat? Same command getting com. Yeah, okay. If you get the same thing, and then we just need to click this one. For inside your in your keyboard, click Ctrl D to quit from the Node console. It says not recognized. Did you install Node.js inside your laptop already? Using Windows 10, so different versions. Not yet. Okay, guys, you need to install. No worries. You can write down the steps that I go through today, and then you can work on the yes Control D for the to exit, and then only you go and set up the Node.js and Visual Code Studio on that. So once you have Node.js installed inside your window, the second one is no worries on versions. So next thing is we need to install the library, and you will need to run npm install -g npx. Copy this command to you guys. So npm install -g global npx. It's because we want to install Nuxt.js framework. We need to use npx to create the project itself. But before that, we need to install the library. So once you hit enter, you'll be able to see this thing. npx, npm, yes. Ignore because I already exist already, so it's like screaming for errors. So ignore my one. You should be able to install. It will take very uh, less time to do the install. Okay, once you do that already, right? The next thing is create the project. Yep, those are the results you already installed already. So how do you create a Nuxt.js project is you can use Nuxt npx create Nuxt app. KOI, KW, yes, and Visual Studio Code, this one. So npx create Nuxt app is to create the default project or the base structures of the JS project. And of course, we need to give the project a name. Okay, so from here, let's say webinar. This is like July 2020. So I want to create a project name webinar-2020. And then when I hit enter, it will help me to download some files. And normally if you go for with the some questionnaire for you to do the basic setup. Okay. Big enough for you guys to see, right? So the project name, if you want to use the same project name, you can just type enter. And then if you prompt for the programming language to use, so we'll be using JavaScript. So just type just enter. Package manager, we use your up down to select npm and then enter again. And over here, UI framework, there's a lot over here. And go all the way down and select Tailwind CSS. Nuxt.js, over here, Nuxt.js modules, right? You can see there's a progressive web application. So for Nuxt.js applications, we are able to create a progressive web applications inside the project. But there's a lot more things that we will need to cover on that. But we won't really do any examples on PWA or progressive web. So I want to use actions only. So over here, because these are selections, you can use space to select actions. So actions is one of the library for us to consume the APIs. So if you still remember the image that I showed you guys on, if you see in front of your computer, and then you open up your browser, right? And then you can do a request response, get the response from the server. So Ashes is the one that will help us to do a request to the server and wait for the response from the server itself. So this is the library, a very important library for us to do API consume for a backend or other applications or other party applications outside that we want to use. Okay, I think this is because of the permission. You can, instead of double click on the cmd.exe, right click run as admin, and then only you create again. So I guess you should be able to create a project from there. So over here, linting tools, you have ESLint, Prettier. So these are the libraries that will keep your code clean, where that you force you to follow the code structures or how do you code, uh, how do you code for JavaScript, and then when do you will need to follow the good practice that is created for from ESLint, Prettier, or link stage files or styling. So over here, I didn't really want to not to say follow, because I do have project that we follows, but over the examples today, we will skip this one. So you just enter testing framework, you go for, and rendering model mode, you go for universal. Deployment target, we go for Nuxt.js hosting, and then development tools, we go for JS. Remember to use space to select jsconfig.json. And once you select all these, wait, copy this one for you guys. To select all of the selections from here, npx will help you to build the projects from here already. So while waiting, let me answer some questions. Zainab, are you allowed to change previous selections? Say you want to change programming language from no, you can't change that. If you want to change, I would suggest that you remove the whole project and then recreate the project again. So once you get this one, I will just wait for you guys for a little bit. Once you get this one, you can just type yes inside the group session, group chat. Even I'm lost too fast. How to remove project? Okay, I will go through again. Inside your terminal, for those who are using CMDR, can you just type Explorer space dot? For MacBook, you can use open dot. So this will open for Mac a Finder, or for Windows Explorer, you should be able to see the project that you created over here. You can just right click and move to bin, throw it away, and then we will go through on the creating the project again. Okay, so that is how you create, you remove the project. Now, how do you create? You can use npx create Nuxt app, and then you just need to give your project a name. So we call it as webinar July 2020. Okay, so the first question will always be the project name. How do you, what is the name of the project? If you want to go by default, you can just type enter. And then the programming language that we'll be using will use JavaScript. So you use for Java, enter, select JavaScript, yeah. And then the package manager, use up down to select. So today we'll be using npm. Zamil, did you run the npm install? You need to run. So you need to run this command to install npx. So for package manager, you need to select npm, enter. So for UI framework, this is the CSS framework that we want to use. So over here, I will be using Tailwind CSS. You can use up and down to select Tailwind CSS and then enter to select Tailwind. And in Nuxt.js modules, right? You can use ashes, use spacebar to select ashes. Okay, I will just wait for you for 1 minute over here. For programming language, we use JavaScript, and then package manager, we use npm. UI framework, we use Tailwind CSS, and Nuxt.js modules, we'll be using ashes module. And then you can just type enter to select. And the next one, linting tools, I won't be selecting any linting tools over here. I will just keep by using enter. Testing framework, use none as well. Rendering mode, there's two mode over here. I will be using universal for the rendering for the project itself. So you can just use universal for the project. You just use enter. For deployment target, right? Because we want to deploy our server inside Node.js, because still remember we install Node.js inside our laptop, right? And then when we want to deploy that time, we will be using the Node.js and runtime environment as well. So we use the first selections, Node.js hosting. And development tools over here, because we're using Visual Studio Code, so it recommends us to use config.json. So use space to select JS config.json. And then once you select all of them, then it will help you to create a folder already. So let's just wait for a little time. So one thing for you guys is the okay, once you have created the project already, the next thing is I want you to do cd into the into the folder over here. So you just copy this command and then paste inside and hit enter. So once you have this folder already, now the thing I want to do is I want you to search for the folder where did you create. Okay, for MacBook you can use open dot, or for Windows user you can use explorer dot over here. So once you open up ready, for my case, right, I store inside my user admin key and then inside this folder. And the next thing I want you to do is open up your Studio Code. So open up Visual Studio Code. So once you open up Visual Studio Code, you should be able to see the landing page, like welcome page from here. So once you have that, you navigate to File and then click on Open. Okay, click on Open and then search for the folder, the project folder that you create. So for my case, I created it admin key, and then this is my folder, webinar. So select the folder that you created just now inside your terminal, and then just click open. And then you should be able to see all this file or folder inside your Visual Studio Code. So open, and then you should be able to see all the files inside here already. Okay, and then go back to your terminal. So once you open up ready, Go back to terminal. And then the next command that I want you to run is you can run npm run dev. Enter. Thanks, Wei Rong. Yes, give it some time for it to run. So once you run the npm run dev, you should be able to see this one. So over here, we are running the web applications inside your local exchange ready. So the next thing is go to your Google Chrome. Go to your Google Chrome. At the URL over here, you can just type localhost 3000. Localhost 3000, you should be able to see your first web applications over here. So this is the project that you created. So now, okay, let me resize this a bit. So this is my how it looks inside my browser, and then this is the project structure. Zoom. Okay. So let me go through a little bit on the architecture. If you want to uh, take down any notes, right? You can just take it down from here. I just wait you for 1 minute for you to take your notes, take your paper to write down. Okay, for assets folder is where we place our CSS or JavaScript or third-party libraries file inside our asset. And then the second one components is where we place all the components in terms of text box, logo, buttons. We create components inside the web applications and then we place them inside here for future reusable. And then layouts is the one we define the web application structure. So imagine the page that you go through in different web applications, right? You have different layout. For example, sometimes you have a menu at the left side, and then sometimes you don't have a menu. I'll just show you on this one. So this is one of the website, the web applications that we will teach inside our full stack 360. The tool for this one is a plain one, and then I can just do a login. Once I log in ready, you can see that the structures for the website is totally different from the previous one. For this one, I have a menu bar over here, and then the previous I only have a login, a form for us to log in to take in the username and for us to do authentications. That is different, totally different layout that we want to create. So over here, we can create different structures of the layout for our website itself. And then middleware is where we want to do any, for example, we want to do authentication checking before the user landed into our website for different pages. And this is where we place our middleware. For pages is where we create all these kind of pages. For example, I can go to, you can notice that the path here change. users, and then if I go to product new stocks, so all of them is over here are created inside our pages itself. So the structures for the Nuxt.js is we split things out for each of the purpose. For components, right? If you notice, I have a cards over here, right? For the card, right, I have dedicated components that it will reflect only for it will hold all the contents inside my web applications. If I just change the component, it will change all the style of the content card itself already. And then that is for component. And plugins is you want to install any kinds of web, any kinds of third-party applications or third-party, you place them inside plugins. And static is where we place our images or our favorite icons. If favorite icons is this icon in our tab itself, so you can change the favorite icon for our web applications. Okay. Oh, don't hang. And then there are other configurations over here. I will just go through another two. So Nuxt.js config, this is the configuration file for the Nuxt.js web applications where we, if you still remember all the settings that we go through when we create the project, we select universals and then we select servers to do the hostings. All of them is inside here. So the settings that we create, it will be inside this Nuxt.js config file. And then the package.json is the library that we install or the dependencies that that this project is required for us to run. So every time when we want to pass the project to other people, and then when we need to install the libraries, or we just need to run npm install, the Node.js will install all the libraries that is safe inside our package.json. If we, because if we install all the libraries, it will be inside these Node modules. And normally we don't pass the whole project in with the Node modules for the web applications because it will be very, very huge. So most of the time we pass the code without the Node modules, and then when the new developer that get the project ready, they just need to run npm install, and then it will automatically install all the libraries that is required for these web applications without any problems, instead of asking the previous developer what are the libraries that we need to install. So all of them will be set or saved inside this package.json file. So this is on the Nuxt.js. So I will just give you the documentations for Nuxt.js. If you want to know more about Nuxt.js, you can go to here. And then they do have a lot of guides that you can go through, like how do you create installations, install, and then how do you create a project. It's the same thing that I taught you guys today. How do you run the npx create app, and then how do you fire up the project itself, and then starting from scratch. All of them will be guide inside these documentations. And if you want to know like how do you build the web applications, you need to go through most of the documentations inside the Nuxt.js, like configurations, routing, view, uh, view, Vuex store. So all of that you need to go through in order for you to understand like how Nuxt.js works. How do you build the Nuxt.js applications? Okay. So inventory, this inventory web applications will be taught inside our FS 360. Um, how do you build like this, all these charts, and then creating stocks, creating new stocks, new products, and then handles on users account. You can just create new user account. Oh, by the way, for the responsive, what do I mean by responsive is if I can you see the if I expand and collapse right the browser, you can see that the column here change. So I have two columns over here, and then if I make it smaller, it become one column. So this is what we call responsive website. And then if I make it smaller, you can see that the content inside the card itself will change as well. So all of them we will need to handle for smaller screens devices by using Turing CSS. So this is this is what I meant for responsive website. As a full stack developer, you will really need to understand on which situation you will need to change the layout or change the content to have the best visualizations for the user itself when they use like uh, iPad, tablets, or mobile phone itself to view your web applications. And I mentioned before, it's all the website, right? The end result will always be HTML, JavaScript, CSS. How do you view that? If you're using Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, you can just do a simple right click and do an inspect or view source. I will just do an inspect over here. You should be able to see this web dev tool. So you can see this is the HTML. And can you see the class over here? Class Z20, flex column, W6, W16, transition all. So these are the CSS that I set. So you can see this is a HTML tag and this is a CSS already. And these are all the JavaScripts that we have. JavaScripts. All the website that we can see inside our browser, they are in HTML, JavaScript, CSS. That is the end product for all the website that you're able to see. Okay. Wei Fan, that's a good question. For Turing, right? Normally we will need to go from small screen first, then only we handle to the larger screen. So always design for the mobile screen first, then only go backwards to the bigger screen size. Normally, if you go to tablet, then only go for the uh, laptop, extra large screens. Uh, the host for this website is Netlify. So I host the inventory system inside Netlify. Catherine, you don't really need to open any file, but you need to open the folder of the project that you create inside of Visual Code Studio. In CMD, I show you guys on how do you open the folder. You can open the folder by using Explorer Docs to see where did you create the project inside your laptop.